Welcome to the Cell Soul Source podcast. I'm Jackie, a chiropractor, yogi, and Akashic reader, and I'm here to activate healing in light workers of all kinds so they can serve from an empowered place and fulfill their purpose with ease, awe, and wonder. Today we're covering the big topic of burnout. How to know if you're in burnout, what to do if you think you are burned out. And it wasn't until I heard Emma Dunwoody, she is the human design coach. It wasn't really until I heard her talking about something called functional burnout that I ever really considered that I was burned out. And looking back, I had been in and out of cycles of burnout my entire career. My first one was 2 years in, where I remember crying in a complete mess in front of my boss. He had just come back from holiday. I had taken care of all of his patients on top of all of my own, and it literally pushed me over the edge. But when you get together with colleagues, so other people in your profession, you'll find that you all moan about feeling the same way. So you can be forgiven for believing that it's normal. And I'm here to break the narrative and tell you it is not normal, so that all the young professionals, all the young healers, all the therapists that come after us never have to experience it. I've seen comments on social media about therapists who need to hide in the cupboards and cry because they're so overwhelmed. I constantly read about clinicians wanting to simplify, or they want to learn how to make passive income. And these are all telltale signs that the way you're working doesn't suit you. So you may be completely in love with what you do, but the way you're doing it doesn't suit you. So let's break it down. What exactly is burnout? And if you're anything like I was, you might not even have considered it. So let's dive into some of the feedback that you'll be getting that lets you know. And the first one is obviously exhaustion, fatigue, feeling drained. And this is no matter how much you sleep. So I found myself going to bed earlier and earlier, thinking if I could just get more sleep, then I would have more energy. But it is not related to how much you sleep. Then on the flip side of that, you might also struggle sleeping. So sometimes you can be so overwhelmed, have so much going on that you actually struggle to sleep. So that doesn't help either. It might show up as gut issues, so your constipation, your diarrhea, you might even lose your appetite. And you'll know that you've got lowered immune function as well, because you will also be prone to all the coughs and colds that are going around. You will feel irritable. You'll feel short-tempered, grumpy. And I know that I used to be okay at work, but then boy, did I let it all hang out at home. I was really irritable and grumpy at home because, of course, at work, you've got to keep your game face on. But at home, you don't have to do that. So I used to be really kind of grumpy and snappy, which is not the way I wanted to show up. I'm not naturally like that. I'm naturally a happy person, so I don't want to show up grumpy and irritable. Another one is numbing out. So you kind of go home, get on the sofa, numb out by, shopping, scrolling on Instagram, watching Netflix, whatever the thing is for you. But the long and the short of it is you are disconnected. You're disconnected from yourself. You're disconnected from your family. Sometimes you start getting behind on normal daily things like, your domestics and your, I don't want to say chores, but chores, the things around the house that really need to get done. You start kind of falling behind with that stuff. And then obviously you lack energy. There's the lethargy. you lose motivation. You start to feel apathetic. You can't be bothered to do things. What's the point of doing things? And then you start to lose interest in everything, even the things that you used to really enjoy. You just don't have the energy for them anymore. So you start getting caught in this kind of negative spiral. Like I say, what's the point? Blaming your work if you get to the point, or you are at the point where I was, where you just wanted to burn it all down. And there's also that feeling like you don't have control over it, like there's nothing you can do about it. And that just builds resentment. So you start resenting the very people that you're trying to help. You start resenting your business if you work for yourself. You start resenting being a healer because you feel like you're always on. You know, you're the one at the party where somebody goes, oh, can you just help me with my neck pain or my bloating or whatever your wheelhouse is. 9 times out of 10, somebody will ask you outside of work as well. And full transparency here, I used to tell people I did accounting. Sometimes I used to tell white lies because I just didn't want people to ask me any kind of health related thing, because I just wanted to switch off and enjoy, you know, wherever I was at that particular moment. So this is showing up in particular ways. It doesn't really matter what job you do, but obviously for healers, you're not going to be able to concentrate. You're not going to be as effective. You're not going to be as productive. You're not going to be as efficient. But you're definitely not in your zone of genius. You're not tapped into your magic. And so sessions feel harder. You're either not able to give of your best, or you're still trying to give of your best, but it feels so heavy. It literally kills your passion, kills it. You are just going through the motions. And again, you start to resent it. You look at your list at the start of the day and you have that sinking feeling because you're wondering how on earth you're going to get through that. So you can't deliver a great session. You can't deliver a great client experience. You can't be creative. And that's why it all starts to feel really uncomfortable and really heavy. So why does burnout happen in the first place? And the kind of superficial answer is, oh, demand, there's so much going on, there's so much to get through. But there's a much, much deeper root. And until you get to the root, you'll just be scratching the surface and it'll likely come back. So the root of this is actually a specific frequency in your field that you keep reacting to by taking on more than you could ever realistically handle. You keep reacting by taking on more than you could ever realistically handle. And instead of putting your hand up and going, that's it, I'm done, no more, this frequency makes you react by doubling down. You roll up your sleeves, you try even harder, you push even more. And your energy bodies will be giving you feedback all the time. They will be popping off with signals, warnings, alarms all the time. But number one, you don't know what those are yet. And that is not your fault because nobody taught us this. And number two, this frequency in your field keeps driving all your actions, all your thoughts, all your behaviors. You are literally being driven by subconscious programming that started when you were very young and you haven't yet brought it into your conscious awareness. And let me tell you, when you do, when you dissolve the root cause of this and you really finally free yourself from this, you'll look back and think, what the was I doing? Think of it like this. You keep pushing past all the feedback that you're getting at the moment. Think of it like warning lights on your dashboard. and you just keep driving despite all the warning lights on your dashboard until the engine gives up. It's the same thing. You keep pushing until you literally can't push anymore. So for some people in the extreme, this would look like them ending up in bed. If you are a generator or a manifesting generator, I'm a Mani-Gen, we can unfortunately keep pushing, which is why when Emma Dunwoody started talking about functional burnout, I thought, oh yeah, that's me. And some of you might already know, I kept pushing until my hair fell out. I had to get some pretty serious signals before I changed my ways. So I'm going to share this little bit with you, and then I'll explain why. So by the time I realized personally what was happening to me, I could already hear the words over and over, I'm dying. Now, I, of course, was not physically dying, but my soul was dying a death. And I used to physically, actually, tangibly stand and hug myself. Now, some of you out there might be rolling your eyes and thinking, what the hell? But it actually stimulates your vagus nerve and helps you calm down. So I used to hear those words. I used to hug the bottom of my rib cage, and I used to tell myself, I'm going to get us out of this. And when I figured it out, I said to myself, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to show everybody else how to do it as well. Now, I want to share those things with you because the women who have gone before me, and I say woman because most of my big breakthroughs have come from what women have shared. And they shared things that didn't resonate with me at the time. But later on, when I found myself going through the same thing, I remembered what they had said, and it gave me a reference point. So I knew exactly what was happening to me because of that. So I'm going to share that information in case it's useful to somebody down the line. So let's break down some of the feedback you're likely getting and driving on by. Again, no shame, no guilt, no judgment, no concern. We just didn't know better, and I was exactly there. So you will be getting things like your hip pain, your sacroiliac issues. You might even be getting things like urinary tract infections because you literally feel that pissed off. You'll be feeling the irritability, like we said. You'll be numbing out whatever that vice is for you. It could even be food, could be alcohol, but you'll be numbing out in some way. I remember for me, it was binge watching Suits. I remember just being glued to it, and that's all I was doing. I was really numbing out. You'll be overwhelmed, that sense of it all just being too much. So you are likely showing up in front of your clients completely drained. I was like a zombie, but I was putting my game face on anyway. You're likely running late because you've given each client before that a little bit extra because you're nice. And I love you, but it tips over from being nice and it becomes a response from your emotional body. This is the programming I'm talking about in action. When I look back, I used to be like a robot, just I must give more, I must give more. It was programmed in. You are miserable and your clients can feel that energy. Energy is our first language. Whether you are conscious of it or not, whether you work with it or not, it doesn't matter. As a baby, long before you could talk, you knew what was going on with mom and dad because you could feel their energy. You know when you walk in the room and your client says they're okay, And you know that that's not true. You can sense it. And then eventually they open up and they tell you how they're really doing. So that's what this is really about. It's about changing your energy and your frequency and the signal you are putting out. So if you want to break out of burnout and you want to build that pinch me life and you want to attract all of those dream clients, then it's about changing your energy and your frequency. So imagine this instead. Imagine you've slept really, really well. You wake up refreshed. You bounce out of bed because you're excited about your day. You can't wait to hear how your clients are doing. You love each one because they are your favorite kind of people. They're genuinely interested in the work that you're doing. And it feels more like a collaboration between two people taking radical responsibility for their own results. You've got energy to move your own body every day. You're eating well. You have fun things planned in the diary. Your bank account's growing. And you walk around grateful for how gorgeous your life is. To break out of burnout and into this, more holidays, more staff, social media breaks, the odd massage, they're not enough. They're superficial. You have to dissolve the root cause of this block. You have to go all the way back to when this frequency was embedded and dissolve it. And that's where the Akashic records come in. Because when it's no longer there, you'll be able to make different choices and feel like they're the most natural thing in the world. But if you try and make those changes without dissolving the root cause, you'll feel too guilty about it. You'll label yourself as selfish or a bad girl or boy, and you won't be able to sustain the changes. So you'll find yourself going back to those old patterns, which is how we get caught in the loop of burnout. I used to get really tired. I used to pendulum to the other side and think, screw this. I used to slash the hours in my diary. And then patients would call. You keep saying yes. Before you know it, you're right back to where you started and more. So if you find yourself caught in this loop, I'm going to leave you with 3 things that you can start doing today to start interrupting this pattern. So number 1, what would make you look forward to your day? Is it maybe starting later, working fewer hours? Maybe you finish earlier. Maybe you go to the gym on the way home. Maybe you start by moving your body. Maybe you have a whole, hour's break in the middle. Whatever it is for you, this is going to look different for everybody. And that's why what I teach is never going to be prescriptive. I want you to tap into your energy and build your perfect life around that. So start to just let your mind drift, start to play in those realms of, wow, if this is really possible, what would it take for me to look forward to my day? Number 2, what can you take off your plate immediately? I can guarantee you there is stuff on your plate that you do not need to be doing. You've got to give yourself some space. You'll never figure this out until you give yourself some space. It's that whole idea of you can't see the wood for the trees. One of the first things I did was I hired somebody to help me with the cleaning. I realized that I was spending an inordinate amount of time cleaning, and it just left nothing, no time left for anything else. And my cleaner is still with me today, and she is one of the huge reasons I am able to do what I'm doing. And I tell her this all the time. I could not be doing what I'm doing without you. We are not in the business of either or. We're not in the business of, well, if I have that, then I can't have that. But if it came down to it, I would keep her and I would sacrifice something else. But thankfully, that is not the game we're playing anymore. You get to have both. You get to have everything you desire. Number 3, start auditing the things you like and the things you don't like. So basically, you're going to start doing more of the things that you do like doing and less of the things that you don't. So if you don't like doing them, can you delegate them? And it doesn't mean that you have to hire somebody else. If that's not in your wheelhouse right now, you don't have to hire somebody else. But I can guarantee you there's somebody in your life that if you could speak up and ask for help, they would help you. So see if you can just start to audit. You don't even have to make huge sweeping changes, but just start to dial into, oh, I actually really don't like doing this. Is there a way around it? Can I give it to somebody else? Can I ask somebody else to do it? Because something that you don't like doing, somebody else loves it. I hate accounting. I hate admin. I hate all of that stuff. There are people out there that love that stuff. So don't assume that because you don't like it, everybody else doesn't like it as well. So I will leave that with you. Obviously, you're welcome to join Expansion, where we will be diving into the root of this, dissolving it, and helping you start to claim back some time, energy, space for yourself, and then activating your next level. So you start to work from joy. You start to work from pleasure. You start to work from passion, and let your clients feel that. I bet right in the beginning you started like that, and somewhere along the way we've lost it. Let's get back to that. And this is how we do it. And this is how we do it in a way that it's not going to come back. We're not going to find ourselves in the same patterns, 3 months down the line. I'll leave the link down below. You're welcome to join. And as always, I look forward to connecting with you in the next podcast. I am rooting for you. We rise together. If you feel called, please rate and review. I would really appreciate that.